Hello everyone! In this video, we'll analyze the Bitcoin situation. And I must say, there are some pretty serious signs pointing to a rise toward $80,000. For now, these are just signs. But we'll look at what needs to happen to talk about it with more confidence. I'll just remind you that my analytics and trading take place on the QuantFury platform. Here, I don't pay any commissions or fees whatsoever. And if you want to join this platform, you can scan the QR code or use the link on your screens. Look at the chart. These are Bitcoin daily candles. I've marked two key levels. They date back to way back in 2024. That's 72,078. The white level marked with red arrows where we tested it. And after breaking this level, Bitcoin went significantly higher to new all-time highs. And the lower level is $60,293. It's also been tested multiple times from different sites. And as you can see, the Bitcoin drop we saw this year stopped exactly at this level. The low was 60,000 and the level itself is $60,293. So if we take a closer look, the situation looks even more interesting. What's so interesting here? Well, first, we see that we've approached this level 2 or 3 times already. There was a false breakout followed by a pullback. There was another wick breakout, but that doesn't count as a breakout because the candle pulled back and we closed lower. But notice that despite the huge pullback, we closed with a green candle. And yesterday, and potentially today, we could also close green, which shows buyer strength. We'll also highlight this green candle from February 6th. Let me just turn on the magnet and we'll see that we broke the base of this candle. Well, not the base, but its closing point. This means the local flat level, which was capped by this candle's close at $70,580, has been broken again, and we're now trading higher. And finally, where will the real growth begin? Where we engulf the downward candle from February 5th. Why is that one specifically important? Because it was the largest downward candle with high volume, which is turned off for some reason. Let's turn it on. Look at how massive that volume was. And engulfing this drop, meaning closing above $73,165, will signal a trend reversal and potential movement into what area? Well, at least $76,322. That's the lowest candle close around April 2025. Well, and potentially the 100-day average there around 80,000. But the situation is much clearer on the weekly candles. I'm turning off all the markings and switching to weekly candles. And what do we see here? We see that we've had several consecutive red weeks of decline, and now the current week, which is about to close in just a few hours, is at risk of engulfing 3 red weeks of decline all at once. And this is a signal for growth. Growth to where? Well, obviously to the base of this big red candle, that's $77,000, and potentially to the 100-week average, that's $87,000, and the 50-week average, that's around $98,000. So if we close the current week roughly like this, and ideally on the daily candles we close above the level, let me show it to you, $73,165, this dashed pink line, then in this case we have a great chance of seeing Bitcoin rise to around 87,000 and potentially even there 98, 100,000. Let's look at the monthly candles. On the monthly Bitcoin candles, we see a continuous series of falling candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we close the current month with a red candle, then we'll likely see a new low around the 50-month average. That's somewhere around $58,000. But if we close with a green candle, within the context of what we said about the daily and weekly ones, we have a chance to get a similar structure to what was seen in February and March of 2022. Back then, we had 3 months of decline, 2 months of correction, right up to the point of hitting a new high for the last falling candle. In our case, the high of the last falling candle is $79,424. And we could potentially correct to the base of this candle or slightly higher, somewhere around $80,000, and then continue the decline. Because overall, this structure still suggests a further move downward, but the daily and weekly candles now quite clearly indicate that the chances for growth are fairly high. Let's wait for the weekly close, see where the weekly candle closes, where today's daily candle closes, and then we'll make trading decisions. Subscribe to the channel. The next review will be on Ethereum. Goodbye.